Well, I'm trying to figure out not only how, but even should I, is the question. My son Cannon is 11, and he next year will be going into the middle school, so he's going to be leaving the elementary world and going, there. And he's getting to the point where he's, you can tell he's starting to look like a teenager.
He's developing.
Yes, he is. He is getting to that point. And, there's always been that whole thing about the birds and the bees and the talk that you have. And then I was reading just some stuff online the other day, and there was people talking about, oh my gosh, my parents tried to do that with me. I already knew what was going on. I wish they didn't because it was so weird and awkward. And I was like, okay, well, am I going to create a really weird atmosphere that he's going to have information he gets at school anyway? Or is it still a parent's responsibility to have that talk? To sit him down and be like, going, well, you've got this thing, and when you put this thing there, and then things happen, then a baby's
you still have to talk to him about it.
And I don't think it's got to be that weird and awkward either. You can you can have fun with it and not make it so sterile and weird.
Let Jaybird do it.
Well, then it's just creepy. Oh, here comes Uncle Jaybird now. Yeah. With this hat and this beard.
Drunkle Jaybird.
Yeah, let me hit the Jameson, and then I'll get an Uber on over.
Yeah.
All right, kid, let's go talk.
Okay, so my question then is, if you're saying that I definitely do, then how do you present it in a way that your kid's not going to be like, gosh, that was so awkward and weird?
It's going to be awkward and weird. It just is. There's no way to have the conversation without you uncomfortable or them uncomfortable or both of you, which is probably what it'll be.
Hey, somebody made a good YouTube video now that you can just put on and be like going, hey, let's watch this. And then 3 minutes later, you go, hey, you got any questions? You good?
I'm sure they have, but you don't need no YouTube.
You got drunkle.
No, you could have fun with this thing. Now, do you want to bring it up organically? Do you want to sit him down? Do you want to go fishing or something?
Well, the problem that we have, we're...
And you see Kevin?
Yeah.
He comes home with 2 poles and a bucket.
We're here to have the talk, son.
Cannon's like, what? Who are you?
What is going on?
I think there's ways to make it less awkward.
Yeah, the only thing is just we don't have a ton of, we're a family that is always moving. I mean, we are always, on from one thing to the next.
I hear you.
That moment where you're just all sitting around, big, come here, son, sit down next to me and let's have a talk.
So the question I always get from people that listen to this program, they'll ask me about Virginia and you, when you talk about these things on the air, like if you have a Mags problem or a Canon issue, is this conversation going to eventually get to them and they're going to know about? Is that possibility out there? And does that make it awkward, or does that actually help?
No, pretty much past 8 a.m., nothing really gets back. I don't think, in my son's world and the youngest one and his world, I don't think that...
Because all the kids and the teachers are in school.
Yeah.
And those are usually the worst offenders of the people that run to your children and tell them and rat you out for what you said on the radio. Hashtag be cool. Don't tell our kids what we said on the radio, y'all.
Oh, people are going to always rat you out. That's just the way it goes.
But, then we're going to have to stop giving information. We want to give information.
There's no way you ever stop giving information.
You're right. Who am I kidding?
Come on.
Who am I kidding?
Who's she kidding? Yeah. So I don't think that this would get back to him in that way. So that's just the question is there an easy way to do it? Is there something, obviously I know how it's done, but how can I do it so that it's not, and when? That's the other part of it too.
Sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Because you want to be the first one with the information. You don't want to be the third or fourth.
It'd be cool if there was like a jumping off point. If you guys are watching something together and all of a sudden you have a chance to say, so what do you think about that? And kind of lead into the whole thing.
Okay.
Because I think if you do the whole, son, let me sit you down, we have to have a talk, that right automatically is going to be awkward.
Jaybird gave us his Pornhub password. Come sit down.
Yes.
Well, you can totally tell Virginia is not watching Pornhub because you don't need no password.
Somebody said there are books that you can get. It's not The Stork. Said, yeah, it's a book. You can buy it, read it to Cannon, and then answer his questions honestly.
Kevin's looking for a YouTube video. He doesn't want a book.
What if you said something like...
We're more viewers than we are readers.
What if you said something like, Cannon, so have you guys done anything, in health class? What kind of stuff are you learning in health class? And see, what he starts to tell you, and maybe that might be a good opening to get into it.
Yeah, I thought, I got to tell you, I don't know if you had this problem. Every time I say, I'm like, going, so what do you learn in school? Nothing. Well, so what is it going on? Do you have like a math class? Yeah, we're just, doing math. And I'm like, gosh, you just like want to wring his neck. You're like, can you give me something concrete?
You got to ask him specific questions.
Yeah, I know.
In health class, have they talked to you about your penis? Let's start there. Let's talk about your penis.
Okay, so maybe do that.
Maybe start with and making it about biology at first rather than sex, and start from there as a jumping off and figure out what he knows about his penis.
And you can kind of relate to it in a funny way because, I mean, I'm sure you had those classes too. I know when I had them, it was awkward, it was uncomfortable, people were laughing in class. I would just talk about those experiences that you had around his age, and he might be able to relate to that, and then bring it back to what you want to teach him.
And just make it from the point of view of, look, you're about to go through some changes. Your body is going to change a lot over the next couple of years. Right. And I just wanted to tell you what was going to happen because I, too, have a penis, and I know what's about to happen to you and your penis, and I just want to make sure that you see it, before it hits you, and you know what's going to be happening to your body.
Tell him, I, too, have a penis, but your mom's got my testicles.
Oh, this is what I was looking for. Somebody texts in and says Netflix has a 5-part series called Explain Sex. It explains a lot about sex, sexuality, and pregnancy.
5 parts.
Yeah, that sounds like it might
Kevin
be a lot.
was hoping to get in and out in under 20 minutes.
I need like a 3-minute video.
He's looking for that 90-second YouTube video.
5 parts.
I have.
What, a mini-series?
They have those quick edits just to kind of speed it along.
Yeah. Somebody said that, there's a lot of things you can talk about with this. The car is actually a great place to have those conversations.
Yes, they are trapped in the car. They can't get out. You have to take away their electronics.
Yes, you do.
And make them engage.
Yes, that's it. Take away the electronics and make them listen.
That's what, I'm so excited that I have Mags in the car all to myself for an 11-hour road trip. I'm actually giddy.
Yeah, that's great.
I am going to use this time so wisely.
Mm-hmm. If your gut instinct served you well, would you say that Cannon knows some stuff already, or you think he's completely in the dark?
I don't know. He's pretty sheltered. I mean, as far as that, I think he knows
comes
about
off
the
very
parts.
innocent.
Yeah.
But that's good, Kevin, because you're going to be the first one maybe to get this information to him. And I did it with Mags right around the same age, 11. She kind of knew a little bit. She knew a little bit about the biology and her parts, and she kind of knew a little bit about what, the guys have and what the girls have, but she didn't understand their relation to each other. And so I was the first one to break it down and actually say, okay, here's what happens with the penis.
Okay, well,
and here's what happens with your business. And you want to be the first one to explain all that so you can do it clearly and concisely.
But how does our boy do that? So what did you do? How did you start the whole thing off? How did the whole thing get going? Because I think that's the hardest part for Kevin.
We started from the biology aspect of it, and I would begin telling her about her body because, girls are going to get the periods around that age or a little bit later. And so that's how I got into it, with the biology thing.
You're in the kitchen and all of a sudden you bring it up?
No, I went into her bedroom and closed the door and made it just the two of us, and I didn't want anybody else to hear. I didn't want her to be embarrassed because, there's a stepdad and a little boy in the house, and I'm sure she doesn't want anybody else hearing.
Yeah, like, a listening audience.
Well, we're past that now. We're way past that now.
So that's how you did it. You took a moment, you separated yourself, and then you went and had the chit-chat.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, I think they're all good suggestions. Good to have the books and the ideas and the thoughts and how you did it. So your kids aren't wanting to be like, oh, yeah, my parents did it with me, and it was so awkward. It was one of the worst moments of my life.
It's going to be awkward, though. If you just go in knowing it's going to be uncomfortable, I think you'll be a lot better off. Nobody does this and does it just well.
I think you can lessen the awkwardness as well.
Okay.
Put on that Kevin Ralston charm.
Bring a drunkle.
Yeah.
I would love to be. Nah, this is a family thing.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to do it here in the next week. So that is my goal, is to find that moment where it's not going to be so awkward and then just be like, so tell me, son.
Let's talk about your Johnson.
Right.